Welcome everybody. I am Ravie Davie, the Fresh Prince of Drummond Square. This is my partner,
Georgia.
And we are starting our very own podcast. It is called the 10 Years In Podcast.
It feels really weird you saying that. Like, it feels really strange to hear you saying that because we've been talking about this for well over a year. You've been trying to get me to come on this podcast with you. But I've been so nervous. But I'm pushing myself out my comfort zone. Am I going to do this, David?
Definitely, this could have been called the 9 Years In Podcast if we'd done it a bit quicker. But no, seriously, what Georgia said there about pushing herself out of comfort zone, we have been gone with each other for the past 10 years. We've been in a relationship, that's hence the name of the podcast. And I really feel like I've always been trying to push Georgia out of her comfort zone, try to get her getting comfortable, being uncomfortable, and doing stuff that she doesn't really. That maybe wouldn't be her idea of fun, but I think now that we've finally spoke about this, it's something that we really want to do, and I think there'll be a lot of positives to come out of it.
Yeah, I think there's definitely a sort of a big interest in it. When I spoke to people about it, they were all really excited for us to do this, so I think that sort of gave us a push to say, right, okay, we actually believe in ourselves and we could do this. Loads of people have been asking me, what's the theme going to be, what he's going to talk about, and actually we've come up here the day with no notes. We just came in here and we want it to be as natural as possible. We just want it to be down to earth, no scripting, and we just want to come across and be ourselves. I'm really excited that people are going to get the chance to see David, who I believe is David and no Ravie Davie, because try to tell people that Ravie Davie and David, in my opinion, are two different people is really challenging, because I think a lot of people see you on TikTok and all they do is see you arguing with people, and that's not really the real person. So as much as this is to help me, this is going to be really good for you as well.
I do agree, kind of just to touch on what you said there about Ravie Davie. Most of my life I have kind of played a character. Obviously the character that I play is very similar to myself. That's how I feel it is so easy to play this character, whether it be on my wrestling or my social media online persona, and the way I just see it, the character that I see is just this guy from the scheme, bit of lovable road, can get anything done. And everybody knows somebody like that guy. Well, they also know he's mad bird, so it's time to meet my mad bird. But Georgia's not really mad, to be honest. She's actually the saying goes that behind every good man is a great woman, or something along the lines. Well, she's better than great. She's fantastic, and I want to get you all to see the true side of her. You've seen a bit of her on TikTok. You get to see her on at shows and stuff like that. Well, now we want to really dig deep and show our true selves, and that's also me peeling back and showing you who David McCallum is, not just who Ravie Davie is that you see online.
That's a good point. Actually, we probably should touch on the fact, like, who we are, because people might watch us on TikTok, they might see on Instagram, they might see loads of videos, but people might be listening and watching this for the first time, so it's probably quite a good idea to just talk about ourselves. So I'm Georgia. I am 32 years old and I've got a little boy called Bo. Me and David have been going out with each other for over 10 years now, and I work in finance. So I've been working in financial services, for the last probably about 16 years. The company I work for now, we sell mortgages and insurance. I work in the insurance team and I'm a manager there, and I've been doing that for years. Prior to that, I've been working in banking for over 10 years as well. So all of my sort of adult working life has all been based around like banking and mortgages, which is strange because I'm going out with somebody who is the complete opposite. So I'm very regimented. I'm very much like, you get up, you go to your work, you do your 9 to 5 job, and that's how you live your life. And David here is the bipolar opposite for me. So do you want to tell him a bit about you?
aye, whatever.
I'm going to try and get on your posh.
try and get a global audience, try and talk a bit different so everybody can understand me. But yeah, I'm David McCallum, better known as my online persona as Ravie Davie, the Fresh Prince of Drummond Square, or my wrestling persona. I am 30 years of age. I am a pro wrestler slash social media star, you could say. TikToker. I do quite a lot of different things as my sources of income. Instead of just having like one job, I have like 10. I also own my own wrestling school. Me and George actually run a wrestling company together as well. Sell merchandise. Get paid off TikTok and Facebook, the other parts of how I make my living as well. Just got a lot of different things that I feel that if I just done one of those to make my money, people would find that very interesting, but I happen to do quite a lot of things. And my main love is professional wrestling. That's what I've done. That's what I've wanted to be since I was a kid, since I was 4 years old. And thanks to my love of pro wrestling, I now live a very comfortable lifestyle where I get to do what I want. Maybe not do what I want when I want, but I definitely have a lot of pride in my work. I enjoy going to work. I get to fly to different countries to wrestle, and I get to do it a lot of it well with my partner and my stepson Bo, who has been in my life for the last 10 years, and all while having fun pretty much anytime I go to my work, whether it be at the wrestling school coaching the kids, at my own wrestling shows, putting on shows and having people, my friends and stuff, and other wrestlers wrestle for the people that support community pro wrestling, or for getting to wrestle myself. Like yesterday I was wrestling one of the best wrestlers in the UK, a guy called Leon Slater, and it was one of the best matches I've had. So I'm getting to really do all this, and I feel like if I had lived a regimented lifestyle like Georgia was talking about, like she does, I would never have achieved any of these goals. I've always been kind of, I've had my head on that I'm going to make a full-time living out of professional wrestling, and now after like 7-8 years of doing it, that's fine. Well, I've been doing it for 9 years, but after about 7-8 years, that's when it finally started to be my job. So that's a bit about the both of us. I seem to ramble on a little bit longer than Georgia did. You'll find that out in this podcast. I can talk for Scotland. Georgia can Georgia can as well, but it's usually when she's angry at me she'll talk for Scotland, and I'll not get the edge in the other ways. But I'm hoping, I know she will start to eventually open up and you'll get to see her.
I am a bit more reserved. I'll hold back. I'll let people talk first, whereas David speaks over the top of everybody. The only way I can imagine...
Set of dominance. So.
The only way I can imagine being in David's life is that when he wakes up in the morning, he thinks the king has risen again.
I really like the monarchy, not me. I'm not really into the royalty, so I wouldn't say the king, but I definitely get main character syndrome.
Yeah, it's like I'm out here and yous are all listening to me, and I'm the most important person in the room, and I'm wonderful, and everybody should listen to me. So me and him being so opposite probably is quite a good thing, to be fair, and that's probably why we've stuck together for so long.
Opposites attract, do.
Well, they do say that, and actually you're probably the perfect example of that, because there's so many things that I just think when you do something, I would have done the complete opposite, and yet the both of us just need to hash it out for like 10 minutes and then think, right, okay, that's just another one of our differences. Lots of people have been asking us recently how we met each other, and as we said, we've been together for 10 years, but actually me and David both stay in Govan, and we both were born in the same street inside a couple of closes along for each other.
Canada Drive.
So although he's got main character syndrome, you'll be, and I'm quite sad to learn that as well, that he's had main character syndrome since he has been a wee boy, and used to terrorise everybody in Govan, just chasing people with sticks, wheelie bins, everything was, it was just absolutely crazy. So I've got a big sister, Shannon. David's got a big sister, Mandy, and they two were best pals when we were growing up. So although David's mum isn't here with us anymore, I knew David's mum really well. We used to all go to the beach and stuff years ago. So we've actually been in each other's lives for such a long time.
I used to call her Road Dog.
So the wrestling has always existed as well. For people who don't watch wrestling, Road Dog does not resemble me, and I want you all to go and have a good look at Google and type up Road Dog, so I want a bit of feedback to say, do I look like Road Dog? I think it's my hair. I think it's the hair used to come all the way down really straggly when I was young.
I would imagine probably what's happened, right, is actually maybe our ma is got an obsession with going to Tenerife 17 times a year, right? So I think maybe when she was younger they maybe went to Tenerife, now they braid your hair, right? They do the hair braiding thing with Road Dog had like braided hair. So I'm just putting two and two together, right? Maybe coming up with 5 here, but I think she went to Tenerife, right? She got her hair braided after the wee woman ripping her hair about braiding it. She's came back and I'm like, here, you look a bit like Road Dog, mate. And she's now remembering it as me just calling her Road Dog all the time. Also, I think she said something about I used to call her Stephanie McMahon and all. I think that's just her thinking, you know what I mean? We're like Triple H and Stephanie McMahon in the Scottish wrestling scene, so she's just trying to speak anti-existence. But.
No, we're Triple H and Stephanie Opie Wish. We're like the scheme version. But people can dream. People can dream.
If Marvin and Dana were on the WWE.
One of my fondest memories of David when he was young was when the Celtic top came out and it was a hoops top. You know exactly what I'm going to say here, don't you? And it's not even that, because when we started getting out with each other, I really wanted to ask him this, but I was like, oh no, what if he'll maybe be embarrassed? And then one day I just asked him, he went, how do you remember that? And I says to him, did you mention Larson number 7 on the back of your top yourself? And he's like, aye, my nana wouldn't let me get Larson printed on the back of my top, so he just got an inky pen and wrote Larson in a full mention.
No, the best bit of it was, right, so no, actually, you can't remember the best bit of it was, so it's just on the 7, right, I've drew like eyes on the 7 and then a tongue like sticking out, like, because Larson would do the celebration when he did his tongue out. So obviously I've tried to make the 7 like his Larson with like the tongue sticking out and all that, and it's wee stupid eyes. So obviously, I mean, sitting in a single parent home, a single grandparent home in Govan, money was a bit tight, man. Betty wasn't having me getting the Larson 7 up. That was probably about 20-30 quid back then. Man, I didn't have any money for it, so I took matters out of my own hand, and I thought it looked cool, but obviously it didn't, you know what I mean? My future wife to be, you know what I mean, was probably slagging me, her sister, you know what I mean, writing her diary, you know what I mean, that wee stupid David, these drawn ones. It was the NTL digital one, the yellow tap one, I can pure remember it, belter. Yeah. But I know, I remember that. What else as well? So me and Georgia, as she said, stayed on the exact same street, Canada Drive, and obviously her and my big sister were pals, and her mum obviously has since then took me in. But every time I'm round at their house, George's granny always likes to mention like my dad's side of the family and how I look like them and stuff like that. Obviously try to always cause beef, not mean try to fight me. So even though mostly George's family have took me in, welcomed me as their own, our granny's always try to fight me, try to remind me that I look like my dad, apparently. I don't even really know.
Oh, my granny will love this getting mentioned, by the way.
Obviously we may, you know what I mean?
One of the things
21 years old.
One of the things that you mentioned was that we both own a company together. So Community Pro Wrestling is our baby. We have been running this company now for almost 3 years. It has been the quickest, most hard-working 3 years of my life, I think.
Stressful 3 years, man. I used to have a full fringe, man, before we started Community Pro Wrestling. I mean, man, used to have a mullet.
And this just the company itself just came off the back of lockdown, really, because my uncle, who sort of volunteers in a working men's club in Govan, had said to you, can you bring wrestling to Govan, because he thought it would be good for the community, which was really good. So we just thought, okay, we'll take a chance on this. And the hall itself holds about 350 to 400 people, and we thought, oh no, what what if we don't sell any tickets? And then before we knew it, we'd sold out the tickets. We were so nervous.
To be fair, I want to cut in. I don't want to. There's going to eventually, once we're doing this a lot, I will be cutting in, butting into Georgia all the time and stuff like that. But I'm not really wanting to put her after now, but I really need to cut in with this part in case I forget it. I've got big ADHD, so I need to mention stuff or I'm going to forget it a lot of the time. So where Uncle been the head of this club for ages, our uncle had been trying to get me to start up my own wee companies with stuff that I'd never even had experience in, know what I mean? So he tried to get me to be a painter and decorator, he tried to get me to be a gardener, tried to get me to do all these different things, right? And then finally, fair play to him, right? Finally actually suggested something that would work. So there used to be wrestling in the Fairfield Club. If this podcast goes on 100 episodes, we can deep dive into all the reasons how it became available, right? But then eventually, after lockdown, our uncle said to us, the wrestling was really good, we don't want to use the guys previously, but we want to work with you and keep the wrestling on. David, could you get a wrestling show? And so I'm like, aye, well, let's use the guys that trained me, let's do them. And he's like, no, David, we don't want anybody else, can't trust them. Why don't you and Georgia do it? Start up a company, not all that stuff. I'm like, I finally suggested a company that's actually makes a bit of sense. But obviously, there's a lot of politics in wrestling. Again, if it get into too much, that's stuff for later episodes. We were a bit worried that I could lose my spots in other places. I was quite popular and that, so it was a worry that if we did this, it might end up messing other things up. But we thought, you know what, this is an opportunity we can't pass up on. Not, I mean, if we don't date somebody else, I'll eventually do it, and then I'll be kicking myself for no doing shows on Govern. So back to Georgia. Sorry, my bad, but just had to point out our Uncle Thomas has been trying to get me to start a company for the full time I've been with, because that same thing about regimented. I used to, if I didn't like a job, but I'm not doing that, Georgia, and she'd go mental. So our uncle also felt that, Raph, and he would try to get me to start my own company. Maybe think, no, maybe it's because he didn't like working for people. So sorry, back to
That's alright. To be fair, when I started going out with David, he was a welder, and I thought, yes, here we go. I've hit it here. I'm doing well. And for the moment I started going out with him, having to take him to work every morning, which he was late for every day. Didn't he ever show up to a job on time, moaned the full time, and was just the unhappiest person because he wanted to be a wrestler. So I thought, yes, this guy's a welder, this is fantastic. And then that genuinely went down the drain about a couple of months later. So I think my uncle after that was thinking, right, come on, we don't want her left in the lurch again. But anyway, so as I was saying, the Community Pro Wrestling is the name of our company. We are going to be really big on the fact that we're not making this podcast all about wrestling, because we're very aware that a lot of people that watch us, or people who might decide to tune in, won't be into wrestling. The same as what I was, although it's became like,
hopefully if you're really not into it but and you watch this, you maybe will check us out and then you come and check the rest on it. That would be an added bonus, but it's not about that at all. Just want to let you know. Sorry.
Yeah, so Community Pro Wrestling, we started that up, and the reason we called it Community Pro Wrestling was because we are really big on the fact that we want to bring shows to communities all around Glasgow, which we've actually went further. We've been at different areas in Scotland doing that now. Yeah, so we were... we want to make it as affordable for all the family and friends to come to, and we want to make it just welcome for everybody to go to. So we've been doing that for the past 3 years. Both of us own the company together, half it down the middle. We split the jobs down the middle and still manage to argue over absolutely everything on a daily basis. And
that's probably why we're successful, to be fair. Not, I mean, if it was were chilled and relaxed, we probably wouldn't have the pressure to make sure that we deliver all the time. And I feel like every time, especially now more recently, we're delivering high quality shows that people enjoy. Exactly.
Loads of people were asking us, like, why did you start it? So that really is a backstory of why we started getting into it. We didn't expect it to go this big. I think, overnight it just took off pretty quickly. We've been running this from two mobile phones, and just two people staying up late at night, getting up really early, and just never really giving up. We just, had a tiny wee bit of money at the start, and we just saved up constantly after that. And
still it's just a tiny wee bit of money, man. Bought 2 wrestling rings and about 12 championship belts, man.
We've done well though, to be fair. It's been a steady growth. I would say it's no massively, a big massive company, but we've bought the 2 wrestling rings, we've put on loads of shows, we've had loads of learns.
Started a wrestling school off the back of it because of the popularity of the shows. We've got another company off of the back of it.
Aye, so I was going to go into that. So that's probably a good time. probably a good time to talk about the David has got really bad ADHD, which means whenever in life you want to tell him something, he needs to jump in over the top of you.
Now, I'll forget if I don't, know what I mean? And then I'll feel left out.
At the start of me going out with David, he never mentioned his ADHD. Now, I've known him all my life, so I know that if there was ever a person to be the walking, talking person for ADHD, he's a definition. Like, you don't need to know what ADHD is, you just need to know him, and then all will be clarified.
Makes sense once I say it, you know.
But he never used to say that he had ADHD for the first couple of years, and then when he started getting asked to do chores, the dishes, etc., he started forgetting about the dishes and then ADHD. And then I used to say to him, why are you saying you've got that now just after all these years? But actually now, probably through social media and through TikTok and stuff, I've watched loads of ADHD videos and I'm like, right, okay, now I've probably got a better understanding of why you do some things that you do. So when you butt in on top of me, I don't get annoyed because I know you can't help it, but other people watching or listening might be thinking, he doesn't let that poor lassie talk, which is the truth. But I know you can't help it. So yes, the wrestling, so it's done pretty well. We've bought the 2 wrestling rings and we just see it, you know, being a steady growth. The actual most rewarding part, I would say, recently is that David books all the wrestlers and stuff. I don't know the wrestlers, so I don't take anything to do with that side. But he's been getting better talent on, and loads of the like, I was going to say the customers, but the people that come and watch and the fans that come and watch the shows all the time have been coming up recently and giving us really good feedback because like the talent's been much better. So
putting on, just putting that's as well. The more shows we've been putting on, a lot of people would be greedy and maybe not even being greedy, to be honest, would take the money that they're making and invest in it themselves. I mean, George will maybe spend it going on holidays and stuff like that, but actually since we started the company we're probably going on a least amount of holidays and stuff like that. What we like to do is we like to invest the money back into the company, give the wrestlers that I'm training at the school opportunities to wrestle against big wrestlers, give all the fans who are paying their hard earned money to come and see CPW the opportunities to see big names like Santino Marella and stuff like that. And most importantly, we're trying to build a community. We put the name Community Pro Wrestling in. I didn't quite get my wee tuppence in about it earlier, but I'm big on it because I loved wrestling all my life, and being from a single grandparent family, like I said, I didn't have a lot of money, so I couldn't really afford to go to like wrestling shows or see these kind of things. So for me, it's trying to make all these things affordable that anybody can come see. It doesn't matter if you're from Govan or you're from I don't know, let's say Bears Den, you can come and see any of their shows. And it's just if you're a fan of wrestling or if you're just even a fan of a good night out with the family, I think those shows are really good for that. And I would what's the word, encourage anybody to go, but again, it's not hard felt for the rest.
On the back of starting Community Pro Wrestling, David has started his own wrestling training school, which is called Glasgow School of Wrestling, which I am so proud of him because like this is his calling in life. Actually seeing him being a coach and seeing him in the class with all the wee between 5 and 11 years, and they just absolutely love him. It is the cutest thing ever. It actually melts my heart. But so he does classes for his kids as young as 5. Obviously in these classes it's more, you know, getting to know wee friends that are also into wrestling and playing a lot of games and stuff. The kids on the end there actually wrestling with each other. Then he's got kids that are ages 12 to 15 and then adults. But David has been running that for what?
Year and a half now.
Year and a half, yeah.
Year and 8 months maybe.
And the amount of people that have walked through the doors has just been amazing. Like it's as if, like I've got a really small family, there's only a couple of us as well. David's got an even smaller family than me, but we've just inherited this big, massive family of people.
Big wrestling family.
And we're just so close to all these people. We've built so many good relationships. They are really loyal to us. They really support us. So it's been amazing. Like I can only see it like getting bigger and bigger as well. Obviously right now you're doing the summer camp, which so whilst the schools are off, the kids are in and you're there with them 9 till 3:30, and you would think that you've been working 20-hour shifts every day.
How?
What? I'm tired.
I'm not
My
tired.
body's all sore. It's because I'm a wrestler.
What did they ask since how long, man? That's one of the reasons actually we're not really prepared for the podcast. Like Georgia was saying at the start, we kind of winged it, because if we waited for the summer camp to end, then that probably wouldn't get around to starting this. So we're going to come in, wing it, see what it goes. I actually feel like it's kind of went no bad ways, just going off the back all that. But eventually, no doubt, once the camp's done, we not bad Nisbet there, we'll have some stuff wrote down with a wee structure on that for, you know what I mean. But because we've got so much on, because with the summer camp with George's work, try to promote these two big shows that we've got coming up. I'm not going to mention the names in the anything like, 'cause I don't want this to be a big advert for the wrestling, even though I really want to, because they're really big shows. But anyway, but besides that, we've got all the other shows on wrestling for our people. I've got a weekend in Ireland / Wales / Manchester. Coach Dorrit feels like it's getting right on tap, you know what I mean? So we need, but it's mad and all. It's really, if we waited, this wouldn't happen. So that's why we're coming in, doing it, and I feel like this is actually class that we've done this. Just like everything that we do, sometimes you need to just go for things, like I did with the wrestling school, like me and Georgia did with the wrestling company. We did getting together as a couple. Just some things you need to go for in life, and sometimes it pays off, sometimes it doesn't. I mean, if I later episodes and that, I can talk about all my failures, because I've had quite a lot, know what I mean? We'll have a bit more structure towards the podcast soon. There's obviously going to be a lot of different things we want to do. If anybody has any ideas, hit us up with them as well. And you want to say, Georgia? One
thing that we did prepare for, though, and what we've been speaking about so much, and it's what you are well known for all over TikTok, is food reviews. Now, I'm not being party to rotten food reviews, right? I've not got the heart. I'm no, somebody's food rotten. I'm that basic of a person. I'd eat plain chips or toast every day for the rest of my life.
Loves fried rice. So
and I would be fine, right? So I'm not getting into rotten food reviews. But we are going to do some food reviewing, and actually we did some food reviewing on Saturday. So just on Saturday here, we were meant to be got to Transmit, but we ended up selling our tickets because David had a big match on Sunday in Edinburgh. So on Saturday we ended up going to Bucks Bar, which was the first time I'd ever been there. Had you been there before?
I've been to the one up the town before and just like sat in myself like a sad act, because actually let in a wee secret, Georgia before Saturday had never actually tried the chicken burger, and sometimes try to get Georgia to try stuff can be a bit of a battle. So when there's stuff that is on the internet and that are popping off, I might just go myself sometimes and just not tell her about it, know what I mean? Because it's not worth the hassle, know what I mean?
It just makes me all nervous. I get all anxious when I try something new.
So I had been myself before, but I'd go to a feast and it was good, but I knew that's why I recommended it, because you'd started talking about it and on, kind of putting the feelers out that you'd want to try it.
So I'd saw loads of stuff on Instagram and stuff about Bucks Bar, and then David said to me on Saturday, do you want to go there? And we went to the one over in Cathcart Road.
Southside?
Was it Cathcart? Yeah.
I think that's one in South Fair, isn't it?
Yeah. So it was really nice, and sadly that was my first time ever trying a chicken burger. I actually never tried chicken till I was 19 years of age. I don't know why. My mum, when I was wee, tried to get me to try loads of food, and I used to genuinely eat spaghetti bolognese, toast and ham, or pizza every day of my life, and that was it. I don't know why. I've got loads of allergies. I've got really bad eczema, and I take allergic reactions to anything and everything that's gone. So I think I just stay safe and I just stay in my own wee lane. But recently I've been trying to try things. So I got a chicken burger, and it was called, what was it called?
The fussy bucket.
Which is the definition of me all my life.
Fussy man. Yeah, fussy
so I'm all the fussy bucket. What's it called?
The fussy bucket.
We're not whistling on this podcast. I'm not allowed to whistle. So it was really nice, and then we got chips. There was so much chips.
You got salt and chilli chips. I just got rooster chips. We got some bakora. A bit of bakora. What else did we get? What else was that thing?
Oh, the macaroni.
The macaroni.
It was
macaroni and cheese.
I know.
Everything else was delightful, but I feel like the macaroni and cheese was just maybe a bit processed.
You're looking at way that you said that for.
Because
You're never normally shy when you're saying how you
you're
feel
not
about
wanting,
food.
you're not wanting to be a rotten food review. It's not a rotten food. It's just a right honest one. Know what I mean? But the burger was really good. Chips were really nice. The Bacora was the star of the show. To be honest, man, I really enjoyed that. I was fucking. I don't know. Well, I swear my own podcast. No, I can do all that. But
But it
what
was
was I
good.
saying now? ADHD, you know what I mean? It was really good. Bacora class, would eat that. I could just eat that. But the food I know, I got the honey ranch burger, so it was like honey and ranch, obviously.
It's funny that.
But aye, some pickles on it. Usually I'd get the pickles off if it was like a Burger King, like a McDonald's Burger King. I just thought, no, in for a penny, in for a pound, man. She's trying chicken burgers, I'll try pickles on my burgers.
Just went fucking
Aye,
wild.
man. I couldn't be a fussy bucker if she's not been a fussy bucker. So we had to eat the pickles, didn't we? But they were falling off, man. But aye, the burger, 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10 for the Bacora. Mac and cheese about a 6.5, not gonna lie, I let it down a wee bit. Sauces, nice, not really got to rate a sauce on it. Aye, 8. Anyway, but and my chips were about an 8 and all. So all in, I'd say about an 8.5.
I just remembered that at the end you're like, oh, I'm so stuffed.
I
And
was
then
stuffed, man.
there was like, you're like, do you want that wee bit of Bacora? And I said, oh no, I'm not wanting that. And you ate it and he went like, oh, I'm really stuffed now. I think that must have been that last bit of Bacora that really took me at the edge.
I did honest, I felt it next day. I was doing the toilet and all, man.
Right? We don't need to know.
The people need to know.
No, but that was really good.
I'd go to it was busy, it was always busy as well. That's obviously a good sign, innit, to be fair, but obviously I know if you're a greedy person like myself, we ordered it, it said it would be ready by 20 to 7, wasn't ready about 7. Point off for that. But it was good, man, definitely. And what we did say, we need to try anywhere that you think we should try next. Let us know. Don't all be funny and go out best kebab, because I would love for it to try best kebab, to be honest, but it probably won't happen. So
he's been actually asking me to just please go up to best kebab so that I
the
can.
good part for you, if she goes in, goes in and buys it from the.
I would be the one.
Then she needs to go in and fling it in like that.
No, the guy chases you with knives and all that. I'd be the one that would get caught. I would slip when I was going at the door or something.
End of the horror movie. Started the horror movie, actually. Pause.
One place that I did see on TikTok that I'm dying to try is Frank's in Finiston.
The pizza
place. And I saw that they did massive mozzarella sticks. They're chunky boys, like they were massive. So that looks really good.
There's one next to it, it's nice. I used to go to Dough Balls when I went and worked in the hospital. Is
that in Finiston?
It's right next to that, Frank's as well. I'm choking to try that Chapter V.
Oh yeah,
that one.
That's the key.
The place. Was it your birthday? I tried.
No, right. So I need to tell this story. So you can tell the story.
So obviously having a bit of a following on social media and that, and being a food reviewer, if I message places and say I'll do a food reviewer for them, usually they'll sort us out with a munching that, because there's places that also message me and ask me to do it for money. So usually if I message the place, they'll date it for us. So I don't know if it was my birthday or George's birthday, but it was one of two birthdays, and we were deciding to go out, and I said, let's go to Chapter V, and I'd already kind of spoke to them before about going in and doing a food review. They'd asked me before, so I hit them up and I was like, oh, looking to come in here for, just say it's George's birthday, for my partner's birthday, any chance I could come in, do a review and that, and all that stuff. And they're like, I ain't bothered. And then Georgia caught wind and she's like, I'm not going it, you know what I mean? I don't want to go and sit and have dinner while you're filming and all that.
And it's meant to be, it's always like, oh, we're going for your birthday, but somehow the attention's back on David. It's like anyway, anytime I'll steal your thunder.
I don't mean it, it's just...
No, you can't help it. It's like, it's just main character moment at all times. So we never went because I was refusing, because it's bad enough going somewhere where he's sitting talking to his phone and you're just sitting staring at the wall, without it being your birthday and like, you know. But that place does look good as well. Never been there before.
The quayside.
Yeah, but you need to give you some recommendations.
What do you use, like?
Yeah, because
I'll be sending me
fussy.
videos, but like one of my pals, and he always sends me places like Sky Dragon, and like, right, Davey boy, no try this yet. Don't be doing that. Just let us know in the comments.
Aye, so if you hit us up and tell us some suggestions and we'll go and try them. Maybe not every week because
Nah, we try to. I know, I mean, I'm an athlete and. You laughing at what fuck's it? Solid.
Oh God,
apple,
don't.
No,
so that would be good.
I would put our social media handles and stuff like that on the link. We'll be making some 10 years in podcast social medias and stuff like that for all you to follow us on, and we will be posting this out onto all good social media, all good podcast providers on YouTube and stuff like that as well. But I feel like this is probably a good.
Yeah, I feel like it's a good sort of good roundup first episode. Obviously, if you've got particular questions that you think you want to know, things that you want us to talk about, then that's absolutely fine. We will go on our social media pages with all our names where you can catch us. We are currently down the now in Studio 23 in Renfrew. We are with Curtis, who is the main man. We came down to meet Curtis not long ago and we just got on with him really well.
I could tell it was the guy to help us make our podcast dreams come true.
Yeah, he's the guy we need to help us. It's really fancy in here. He's got all the cameras, all the lights, which has probably got to take a wee bit of time to get used to. But yes, anything else you want to add?
That's kind of, I feel this has really went well. Let us know how you've enjoyed it. Always hear every other podcasters say
exactly
about
what you're about to say.
leave 5 stars and all that stuff. Know what I mean? They tell you don't need to do that if you don't want to, but you kind of do need to do this for us. Know what I mean? It's our first couple of episodes. We need as much like stuff trending and that as possible. So 5-star everything. Tell everybody we're class. Let everybody know about the 10 years in podcast with your old dad Ravie Davie and his old wife Georgia Nisbet. And I was about to say something that I'm not going to say on the podcast because
you've got to tell everybody that I'm older than them.
By
we know
a substantial amount. Not really, but no, I was actually got to say it, and that's what's happening, Troops. And I'm not meant to say that's what's happening, Troops, because that's banned on the podcast.
Also, want some feedback. Do you think that what's happening, Troops, should be banned from the podcast? Because I don't feel like I'm what's happening, Troops, all the time.
She's exactly what's happening to us. You know what I mean? She is why it's happening to us.
So yes, that would be good to hear.
Right.
But thank yous.
I don't know how to finish without saying that, so enjoy yourselves. 10 years in, out.